And we have breaking news from the White House. Moments ago, President Donald Trump signed an executive order to begin the process for the creation of an American sovereign wealth fund. Trump says the fund will be up and running within the next year, and the goal here is to monetize the assets listed in the U.S. balance sheet. This fund could also purchase TikTok. Trump appointed Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick to head up that fund. And also coming from that meeting, the president announced 5 designations of special envoys and 28 sub-cabinet level official appointments. Meanwhile, President Trump has agreed to hold off on tariff threats against Mexico to allow for a month of negotiations. The pause came after the Mexican president agreed to send 10,000 members of her country's National Guard to the border to address drug trafficking. However, import taxes on Canada and China are still a go for Tuesday. CBS News national security contributor Sam Vinograd joins us live now to discuss the tariffs. Sam, thank you so much for being here. What do you make of this shift from the White House?
Well, we do have a temporary tariff truce when it comes to the United States and Mexico. But as of now, it does look like tariffs will go into effect targeting one of the United States' closest allies, Canada. If we take a step back, we have to remember that we are at an unprecedented moment. The convergence of trade policy, immigration policy, counter-narcotics, and foreign policy has really never been higher. President Trump is using his executive authority under legislation known as IEEPA to implement tariffs for the first time in history, not based on economic concerns with Canada, Mexico, and China, but based on counter-narcotic and immigration-related concerns. This really hasn't happened before and is an unprecedented moment in history. Now, while the tariffs with Mexico are on hold ostensibly for a month, we are still looking at tariffs going into effect against Canada, against China, and President Trump is also threatening to look at implementing tariffs against the European Union. So he is using his executive authority to implement these punitive measures on an incredibly broad range of imports into the United States, which are expected to significantly raise costs for Americans and to really shake up how our allies and adversaries view the predictability of our tariff tools and our foreign policy assurances as well.
Okay, Sam, you mentioned China there, so let's focus on that for a second. What could the fallout be from tariffs with China?
Well, China right now is threatening to take this action by President Trump to the World Trade Organization, which likely won't have a lot of teeth based upon the inefficacy of that body. What we could see is a series of retaliatory measures by China targeting U.S. exports to the United States, but also asymmetrical responses whereby China takes steps to harass and intimidate U.S. businesses operating in China, U.S. personnel, and more. So we could see actual retaliatory actions by China that are symmetrical or more asymmetrical actions by China to try to really bully the United States to take a step back from this imposition of 10% tariffs.
And just so we're clear, we're not just talking about China, Canada, and Mexico here. Trump has also threatened Europe with tariffs to align with his legislative priorities. What could be the fallout there?
Well, in terms of goods, services, and investment, the European Union is the United States' largest trading partner. And Trump has for some time railed against the European Union's trade deficit with the United States. More recently, he's focused a lot on EU auto exports to the United States, which is a direct dig at Germany. He did impose tariffs against the EU in his first term on steel and aluminum. But this time around, the EU is in a very different position. Since at least this summer, the European Union has been preparing a list of its own retaliatory measures that it could use to target the United States. And so if Trump moves ahead with tariffs against the European Union, I think we'll see 2 steps take place. The first is the EU could come back and pledge to buy more U.S. goods like liquefied natural gas, for example, to try to reduce the trade deficit, while concurrently also targeting very specific U.S. exports to the EU that they know will hit at Trump in red states where he gets a lot of support. So they've been preparing for this for some time and won't be sitting around waiting for Trump to take punitive action with no response of their own.
All right, Sam Vinograd, thank you so much for your insight today. We appreciate it.